Hello, divine man. Hello, divine woman. And welcome to this safe space. Before we get started, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. I'm trying to grow my channel and make sure that I can share this information that I've learned in life with others. So if you want to be a part of that journey and help, go ahead and do that. And I want to thank you in advance for doing so. So this is going to be the second part of understanding that your feelings are valuable. If you haven't tuned into the first part, we talked about how it's very important to acknowledge how you feel, because sometimes, a majority of the time, people ignore how they feel when it comes to connections, and that can lead to severe heartbreak, where if we put aside everything that we're being fed and we're seeing with our eyes, we can honestly acknowledge where people may not be who we think they are. Of course, that is never something fun to experience, especially when you start to put your trust in an individual. However, it's very important that in these moments, in any connection actually, that we take the time to acknowledge our feelings. How do we feel? What is the energy you're picking up from this person? We have way more empaths than we really know. And by simply taking a moment to tune into that, you can save yourself a whole lot of heartache. Now it can be disappointing, but it helps you keep your sanity. So moving forward, I want to emphasize something that I said earlier on in the first part. I was talking about how it's very important to acknowledge how you feel. Understand that, we can learn from other people's mistakes, but we can't allow that to overpower our own opinions. When it comes to our feelings, I've noticed that they tend to get watered down as we grow. For example, with men, and I can definitely speak on black men for sure, because that's what I've been around my whole life. Men get told to not show emotion. They get told to be tough. They get told, any sign of weakness, emotional weakness, makes them vulnerable and weak, when that is not the case. However, that's just an example of how people try to water down our emotions so we can be robots, okay? Living in the matrix, not truly thinking for ourselves. But when you decide to step away from that, you start to, yes, be more in tune with how you feel, but you start to be more in tune with your future. And that could sound crazy, right? I know that probably sounded crazy to somebody out there. If you're just getting started, it does sound a little crazy, to be honest. But I'll elaborate a little more. What I mean is, there's gonna be times where, as you tap into your intuition, you start picking up on future energies. Crazy, right? That sounds crazy as hell, don't it? When you tap into yourself and your intuition, right? Remember, in the first part, I was saying that this is your spiritual team, your ancestors, your angels, God, whatever you choose to believe in. This is how they communicate with you. They let you know what's going on through your intuition, through your gut feeling. And I've said this many times, where when you disregard that feeling, you're disregarding your spiritual team that is working for your highest good. Okay? So, moving on to what I was just saying. When you honestly start to tap into it, as you build that muscle, you're hearing muscle to that intuition, to their voices, you start to pick up on future energies. And oh my gosh, I'm gonna tell y'all, it is so freaking amazing, but it's also challenging, because it's like you start feeling things before they happen, and it can be very, very, very trying, but it can be very beneficial when you allow yourself to be led by that information you're receiving. So, for example, and I have not shared this with many people, and it was my first time actually being aware of this, and it kind of took me for a loop, but I knew 2 months in advance before somebody was going to pass away. That is some freaky shit, okay? But on the flip side, I for a few months now, I was going through some struggles, and I just felt like things were gonna change. Okay, I just felt like something was gonna change. I was looking for another contract. I was basically like seeking some opportunities, and I felt it before it came. Okay, so me feeling it, because I have been building my intuitive muscles lately, my job, once I felt that, was to make sure that I stayed in high vibrations, basically by not thinking negative. So I'll speak more about delegating and stuff like that. But what I'll say is, basically, I put a prayer out there, and when I did my prayer, I was like, this is what I need in my life. Okay. And then I made my plan on what I needed, what I was going to do when I got it. Da 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 da. So months. This was months, okay? Months. This was back in 2021. All right. So in 2021, I had this feeling, and I was like, okay, this is what I want. This is what I'm going to do when I get it. Da 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 da. And of course, with the lessons that I've learned, it was very specific and very more insightful versus what I was doing in the past. So for the past few weeks, my goal was to focus on my mindset, not allowing myself to sit in negative thoughts, not allowing myself to feel bad, but embracing what I felt, allowing that to overpower any negativities, allow that to help me do rituals like burning candles or making prayers, or just visualizing different things I would do when I accomplished that specific goal. So I went ahead, did all I could do to keep my mindset up, and along the way I noticed that messages were coming to me. If you don't know about angel numbers, very good thing to look into. If you don't know about spirit animals, very good thing to look into. And then with my business feed, I which is going to be tagged below, I have been very intentional with the feed to make sure that it's positive things that I can share with people that follow my business page and stuff like that. So there will be times I'd go on Instagram or Facebook, and the message that I needed to hear would appear right then and there. And I'm telling you, bro, those spiritual messages ain't no joke. Okay, when you really start tapping into that and you start being more aware, you will see that your spiritual team isn't just a team that you can't see. They're a team that's interacting with you and communicating with you. And the more you choose to tap into that, the more you grow your intuition, the more you are saved from bullshit connections and all that stuff. So, anyways, I was just, very intentional about that gut feeling that I had. Like, I knew it was going to happen. I didn't know how, but I knew it was going to happen. And then little by little, I noticed certain opportunities were coming up. But based off of my initial plans that I made in 2021, I had to ask myself, is this what this doesn't, like, I had to be honest and acknowledge how the opportunities that were presenting themselves at the moment, although they were opportunities, they were not what I signed up for. So I had to get to the point where I had to pick and choose. Am I going to honestly follow the plan that I set? And am I going to be consistent with that plan? And am I going to say no? Or am I going to keep trusting this intuitive feeling that I have? Hold on. Okay, I had to check myself before I wreck myself. What I meant to say is, am I going to trust this intuitive feeling that I have and say no to this opportunity that's presenting itself? Or am I just going to settle for less and take this and know that although I'm not going to experience what I've wanted to experience, this is just something for the moment? You know what I'm saying? So, you got to practice what you preach. You hear me? So, yeah, it was a matter of, I had this gut feeling, and I had it for a few months. Like, I knew something was coming. And before I actually started having that intuitive feeling, I had to actually will myself into believing that. I had to believe that I did not come this far to come this far, you feel me? And that I've been trusting my spiritual team this whole time and they got me this far. So did y'all really bring me here to leave me here? Like, what's really good? So, I had to start telling myself, I had to believe it first. Yo, I'm going to get an opportunity that's beyond my wildest dreams. And I want this, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to just fall into place. So I had that mindset for a few months. Okay, those few months felt like a long ass time, to be honest. So for a long ass time, I had the idea that I'm going to get an opportunity that aligns with what I want. And then back in December, I made the plan, right? Or was it January? I think it was actually in January I made the plan, now that I think about it. Yeah, I think it was actually in January. Like in December, I was starting to get the plan together, but in January, I actually wrote it down. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yes. So I wrote it down in January. I actually did this ebook, right? How to step into your Empress energy in 2022. And it'll be on my business page, my business website. I'm sorry. And I think that'll be linked down below. But anyways, it was actually in January. Like for the past few months, I was thinking about what I wanted to do when I got this opportunity. And then while I was actually doing the stuff for January in the book, that's when I had like a set idea, a set plan on what I was going to do. And then tell me why. 2 or 3 days later, an opportunity that surpassed what I was thinking, surpassed what I was thinking, just presented itself. And I'm like, holy shiznit, what the fudge? So, yeah, I say all that to say, yes, it's very important to value yourself in connections, but it's also important to value yourself when things outside don't look the way you want it to look. When things aren't going the way you want it to look, understand that you are a very powerful individual. And as you start to tap into your power, you can make your reality clear. You can set your reality and make it happen by trusting in your divine team. I'm gonna go ahead and stop it right here. But the next chapter, I'm gonna dive into delegating. So I hope you guys are excited. I hope you're ready to hear what I have to say because it's so freaking awesome. But until then, sending you love, peace, and light. Until next time.